and welcome back to another video. This one is about making a few calculations and things using our spreadsheets, and it's using a large number of data. So as you can see here, this is some data we gathered this year when we burnt rice cakes, and I'm not going to at this stage disregard too much, but as we go through, I think it's best if we take things out. Because I asked you to calculate the Q value and asked to do the Q value per gram of the rice cake that's burnt. So let's see what's going on. Now, as we go through this, it's most important to remember what you are heating is the masses you must use, or what is you're measuring the temperature of the masses you use, and we can work from there. Now, the other thing I also asked you about is to have an error calculation in here. All right, so I'm going to set up things first of all. Now, I'm not going to check your data, but I am going to say to you one thing. Never have words where numbers should be. Like this one has got failed, 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 failed. And that will cause all sorts of problems. So I'm just going to do what we could do because we've got a heap of data here. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm going to delete that row. It says row 5, so it's gone. Right, now we've got some qualitative observations which I'm not really interested in at the moment. But I am going to put some starting points over here. I'm going to put a Q value here, and of course I should mention it's in joules, and then I'm going to put next to it a Q value per gram of rice cake burnt, and that of course is in joules per gram. Alright, so we should be seeing these things there. Oh, it's gone there. Perfect chance for us to review this. Go up to the top toolbar only. You only need to use this toolbar. Top toolbar, and we're going to use the middle one, and there it is, all in one thing. Now we're going to try to create an error thing here. So we've learned that I'm just going to put all these things in here. I'm going to remember that we had, our error was maximum value. Then we had, I'm going to join these two cells together, so I'm going to merge cells. I'm just making life easier for myself. We have minimum value, and the next one across will be our error value. All right, now we should be doing this. I'm going to just make it look tidy as well. And I'm going to have an error. Oop. Didn't like that for me, did it? Error. No need to have units here because they're not really there. Now these are in the center there and the center there. I think you don't need to worry about that. All right, our first one, we did it with heating water. So let's tell the machine to do this for us. And this should be nice and simple and straightforward now. Equals tells the program I want to use it. Right, now we know that Q is equal to the mass, so this one. We're heating water, and we're measuring the temperature of the water, so we use the mass of water. That one, times, which is shift 8, 4186, because that's the value of the C value of water, the heat capacity, and of course the temperature change. We've got the difference in temperatures over here. So that should work. Now if I do it, I end up with that many joules. But I've made a mistake, haven't I? And people didn't do it because I forgot to convert mass into kilos. So very quickly to do that, I'm going to use brackets. I'm going to go bracket. I've got the mass I've got. I'm going to divide that by 1 1000. Then I'm going to close my bracket and see how this table is still alive. In other words, any changes I make will cause changes to instantaneously appear, which is great. So now what I've done is I've told it, first of all, convert the mass to kilos, then do the multiplications. That's better. So we've got 2568.11 as our joules of energy in the Q values. All right. Now, of course, our error values here are about Q, or we might actually take them as Q per gram. Now, because I'm lazy, we all are, I'm just going to grab the corner of that and drag it down. So I've done everyone's. Now, the problem is when you're looking through these sort of things, how about we do the Q first? We do the errors first. If I'm doing that, I'm going to go across to here, so I've got nothing cited. We know that the maximum, if I type in MAX, it will ask me, do I want the maximum of a number? Yes, I do. So I'll click that, and then all I'll do is highlight this. Highlight the Q values. Don't forget to close the bracket, click enter. Right. I only need one of them. Then I'll obviously be the same all the way down through. Of course, it's given the same instructions. Right, if I do the minimum, oh, yeah, equals, tell I want to do something, minimum, yeah, and the minimum I want to do is the same one. So close it off, off we go. Right, we've done it already. So now I put in error equals maximum minus minimum. Now I think I better use some brackets here, otherwise my order of math might get a little bit funny. Remember, divide by is the forward slash, and I want to divide it by 2. Right, there's our numbers. Now we've got a whole heap of ridiculous numbers there. Look, we've got, after the decimal place, we've got 5 decimal places there. And realistically, our results should not have that. I'm just going to leave it at 2. We've been using 2 all the way through. So remember to change that, come up to this one, click the 1, 2, 3 button, click the number, and there we have 2. Now, this looks, I always like to make it look good whenever I'm doing these things. So what I'm going to do is to all those columns that I've just highlighted, bring it to the center. So there we go. So now I've got an error of 1,323 when my value is, on this one, when my value is 2,568. That's a huge error when you think about it. Anyway, that's another story. Right, now I'm going to convert this to joules per gram in terms of what I've done. So again, I tell the machine I want to do something with it. I go equals. I want this number here, which is my energy output Q, and I'm going to divide it by the grams of rice cake I burnt. Now, we didn't do that. So I could do one of two things here. I could very quickly set up and do another column over to the right, past error, and put in there mass difference, or mass of rice cake actually used. And that would be the mass of the rice cake before a burnt and after burnt. But I can also do that by doing this. I can say I want that number minus that number. And that'll give me a value of a difference. So either way works. If you want to be really, really careful, and if you've got a whole heap of numbers, I probably would suggest, for safety reasons, you add either a column over on the left next to the mass of the rice cake after burning and put mass difference in it. Then you can use it there because there's less problems. Now if I go then I do the calculation. It tells me that for every gram of rice cake in this sample, we had 2,594, basically joules per gram. Now let's see what the difference is as we go down. All I'm going to do now is drag down, or fill down as it's properly called. Goodness. I go right down to a value of -10. Now I've got some numbers here that realistically, if I was analysing this for grades, if I was a student doing that, I would make sure that I took them out, because they're absolutely, how can we have someone down here in a group has said that if we burn something, we end up with more mass. Now that's impossible. And they've done it twice. Might I suggest that maybe they got the numbers mixed around the wrong way. That could be the best option of doing it. Right, so now I've solved all my problems. I see there are lots of things there. If I was trying to fix this up and do it all and make it look pretty for a report, I'd of course go up to the top. I'd put these little things here, right, and go up to border here. I told you everything's at the top. Then click that and put a border around so it looks like a table. So now I've got things in the middle that I know of. Now, normally I would be suggesting to you, this is not really something I would have in my table. And I'm probably suggesting to you, I'd probably have these to the side. Right, that is how you can manipulate a large amount of numbers and do the same sort of reaction with them. You should be able to do this now. If you can't, then there is a problem. So you need to practice with it. Now, if I was going to then submit these as my numbers, as I said, I could either get rid of the numbers here that are negatives, really have a good look at some of these numbers, because I've got numbers here which says there were 20,000. I think that is way, 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 way over the top. And there's some numbers here of 280. I think that is way, way, way below. So we could look at these and call them outliers. Now I could leave them there, but I should never, ever, ever use them for calculations. I can show them that they've been numbers that we measured, but I should say that they should be discounted. Now, so if I'm doing that, then we have to use the command button and pick and choose which numbers we want. And that's a bit trickier, right? But it's something I might include in a subsequent little video. I hope that helps. We've got some numbers in. Now we've got some idea of how much energy comes out of a rice cake. If I was going to do a comparison, I would find the original packet the rice cake came in, and there would of course be a nutrient guide on the side, which would have something about either kilojoules or calories on it for me to use. If I wanted to, just for practice, I could work out the number of calories here. Hey, how about we just do it while I'm practicing? I'm going to do this. First of all, I'm going to insert a column, and I want it to go to the left, in other words, next to the Q value. So I'm going to change here, right? So I'm going to go in here, so let's put a column in there for me. I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this again, which is merge them. I'm going to cheat a little bit here, because I'm going to copy that heading, and I'm going to put it in the new one, but I'm going to change it, because I'm going to change my units. I'm going to call it calories per gram. Okay? I could have done over here as well. You should be able to do that. You should be able to do it. Now, if I'm doing that one, I know that there are 4186 calories, joules in a calorie. So if I'm doing this one, what I've basically got to do is say, right, I want that one, that number there, and I want to divide it by 4186. And there it is. And that's wrong. Look at it. Oh no, it's not 4186. Yes, that's 4186. So that's about right. Look how many numbers I've got there. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't leave that. First of all, make it easy for myself. I'm going to scroll down and let it do the sums. There are going to be some silly sums here, some really silly ones. Then I'm going to come up here to this thing here, the 1, 2, 3. Click on it, click on number, and that makes more sense of what I'm doing. So there is the calorific value of it, just in case we were doing that. So realistically, as you can see, it doesn't take very long at all. If you are clever and using this wonderful thing called Google Sheets, you can do this really, really super quickly. All right. Now, if we wanted to, we could have done the error based upon calories, but hey, it's fine. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you've been able to see what's going on. And on that note, we're going to finish up this one.